Hi everyone, thank you for watching this video. I hope I'm centered. Let's see. I apologize if a little crooked. So I'm trying to keep my phone kind of level. Okay. Hi Angela, thank you for coming back. Today we'll continue our Dao De Jing chapter 2. I figure I'll read you the whole Chinese chapter 2 Chinese version and the whole English version first. Okay, so Dao De Jing chapter 2. 天下皆知美之为美，斯恶已；皆知善之为善，斯不善已。故有无相生，难易相成，长短相较，高下相倾，音声相和，前后相随。是以圣人处无为之事，行不言之教。万物作焉而不辞，生而不有，为而不恃，功成而弗居。夫为弗居，是以不去。Has a very beautiful, this nice rhythm. I like the English version I like is by Stephen Mitchell. And it goes like this. When people see some things as beautiful, other things become ugly. When people see some things as good, other things become bad. Being and non-being create each other. Difficult and easy support each other. Long and short define each other. High and low depend on each other. Before and after follow each other. Therefore, the master acts without doing anything and teaches without saying anything. Things arise and she let them be, she let them come. Things disappear and she lets them go. She has but doesn't possess, acts, but doesn't expect. When her work is done, she forgets it. That's why it lasts forever. Last week we finished at the master acts without doing anything and teaches without saying anything. So this week we'll continue on to the next sentence, which in Stephen's translation is things arise and she lets them come. Things disappear and she lets them go. So in Dao De Jing, in Chinese, it's the sentence is 万物作焉而不辞。万物, we talk about 万物 in chapter 1. Some translation will translate it as 万 means 10,000. So 万物, 10,000 things. We talk about in Chinese, we use this a big word to means everything. So 万物 means everything. So everything. 作焉 means they just they do their thing. Like plants, they grow. Animals, they're born and they grow, they eat, and they mate, they have babies, they start the cycle again. So 万物作焉. So you can just picture of just, especially now it's spring. So everything just has its own, they have their own follow their own the rules, follow their own ways of growing, follow their own ways of doing things. 而不辞 it means, so that's why you can see why Stephen Mitchell translated as things arise and she lets them come, things disappear and she lets them go. It means do not interfere. Like she doesn't interfere, she let things be. And so think about it, like she, so who is this, or what is this she? What it sounds to you that just contains everything, holds the space for everything, so they can just follow their own natural path, do their thing, and she holds the space, she allowed them to be what they are. To me, it sounds like this is talking about Mother Nature, right? The nature. And that's how nature is, right? Nature, I mean, we're living on this earth, which is such a complicated ecosystem, and it has everything. And Mother Nature, for example, we have mosquitoes. For us humans, we probably be happy if a mosquito doesn't exist. However, from mosquitoes, we know that mosquito larvae are a big part of the big part of the food, for food source for little fishes and for dragonfly larvae. So for these fish and dragonfly larvae, they probably would not be happy if let's say nature suddenly decides, okay, mosquito is such a nuance, I'm just gonna let mosquito go. And we like dragonflies, right? When we trying to get rid of mosquito, sometimes do we realize the impact of this on all the other species? Because we're in this complicated system, everything is connected with everything else. And so this is in the sentence before that, remember and some translation will have it as says the sages will act without doing anything, teaches without anything. And you can also translate it here as translated as the master. So, and then this sentence is right following after that sentence. So it's like, okay, so Lao Tzu is saying, if you want to become a master or a sage, then you should be doing what nature is doing. In Tao Te Ching chapter 25, there is a sentence which is actually a very well-known, well-quoted sentence from Tao Te Ching. So there are several, some sentences in Tao Te Ching that you probably hear it a lot in different places. The sentence is, in Chinese, it's 人法地，地法天，天法道，道法自然. I'll translate it. 人 means human, us. 法 人法地, so the first part 人法地. 法 means the law or the rule. Here it's used as a verb. 人, we can say humans, we can say we follow the rule, or we have used what as our rule, as our law. 人法地,地 means earth. So the whole sentence we can translate as humans should follow the rule of the earth, or or you can say the humans should have the same rule, has the same law of the earth. Think about it. We are all part of the earth, right? The earth rotates and we're moving with it. I forgot what's the speed, but we don't really feel it. Without feeling it, we actually are moving with earth, as earth moves around itself and earth moves around the sun. And we don't realize that we're traveling at the speed in the universe. And we could feel, look, as earth has the 4 seasons, and our body actually also behaves or reacts differently to the 4 seasons. Our body also follow these 4 seasons. So we follow the rule of the earth. And when like what we said, in spring is the time that everything is growing of the tender shoots, tender leaves. So in Huangdi Neijing, which is the Yellow Emperor's canon, which is pretty much the earliest classics, one of the earliest classics in traditional medicine, it has a chapter called 四气调神大论, which means it teaches us how to take care of ourselves, take care of our body according to the change of the weather. So when we follow this big rule, how the earth moves, and it's very natural, it's very fluent. We don't take much effort. When you wanted to go against the natural law, natural rule, for example, it's dark, it's night, but you don't want to go to sleep. You want to keep awake, and you want to get your body going, and then the next day you'll feel the consequence. However, when it gets dark, if you try to be able to fall asleep before 11 o'clock, because 11 to 1 is in Chinese calendar, that's the beginning of the next day. So that's kind of like a spring. Things are not spring. That's more like the time that, like the winter, when you should be going to sleep, you should be resting. So the yang energy gave yang energy some chance to accumulate and slowly grow, moves up. And that's the time we should go to sleep. And then you wake up and you feel well charged. So talking about 人法地, humans should follow the rule, the law of the earth. And so the next part is, hi Nicole, thank you for joining me. We're talking about a very famous quote from Dr. Jing in chapter 25, which is this chapter 2 made me think about the other chapter. So that's how we're gonna do whenever we have to combine it, make connections with later chapters too. So the next section is 地法天, means earth has the same rule, follows the natural law of 天. 天 you can say translation as the sky, and you can also say it's the universe. So it's another level of perspective. So the earth follows the law of the bigger universe, how the universe works, why earth moves around the sun, how the solar system moves. It's based on the law of the whole universe. The next section is 天法道, means the universe follows the Tao, and we talk about the Tao as in Tao Te Ching. It's the rule, it's the path, also the rule, or the rule how nature works. Because that's the next sentence is 道法自然 means Dao is the rule, Dao is the law of nature. So I personally really enjoy this quote, and I think Dr. Wu really liked it. You remember, not long ago he had this Chinese calligraphy has 道法自然. It's it just, for me, when I read this quote, it just brings me to have this, I feel this connection of me with this much bigger perspective. And it's just a lot of times meditation, what meditation does is to help you to be able to expand your consciousness. So you're not limited in, we often are too limited in focusing on whatever we're doing and whatever is happening right around us. Think about this. Let's imagine this. You have one person on earth. When you think about 人法地, so a person follow the rule of the earth. Your mind, your consciousness expands to include the earth. And the next one, 地法天, earth follows the rule of the universe. Your consciousness expands up from earth. Now earth become almost like a person compared to earth, as earth compared to the universe. It's like small suddenly large. And then you realize that this large thing compared to another perspective, it's very small. So you make it, your mind just become this much bigger. And then 天法道. So the universe, however big it is, it follows the rule of Dao, follows 道法自然, and the Dao is the rule of all nature. It makes me, I think this is very good meditation methods. Next time I meditate, I'm gonna contemplate on this quote. And if you like, try that too. I don't know if you have seen this short film that was very popular, went viral a couple years ago, called Cosmic Eye. You may not know the name, but you may have seen the film. The film starts from at a girl's face. I think she was lying on the grass and at Google headquarters. And it's almost like a camera is just zooming out. And then you started to, from this girl's face, you have this much bigger view. You started to see the Google headquarters, and you start to see the city, and then you can start to see the whole region, and then you started to expand more and more. You start to see the Earth, and then even expands even more. You start to see our solar system, and it goes even more. You start to see our Milky Way, and then it even expands to about 1 million light years away from us, and we see cosmic web, and then it expands to 10 million years, and then you see this whole called uniform universe. The interesting thing, I found it was very interesting thing, is that then it goes back all the way to the girl's face. It didn't stop there. It just continued going into her eye. You start to going to see the micro world. You start to see the red blood cell. You start to see the blood vessel and the red blood cell in it. And you start to see the chromosome. And then you go even in. You start to see atom, and all the way going to quarks. It just has such a nice, to me, just have this, put everything into this much extended perspective, because it helps me to better understand the quote we were just talking about. It's like it's also, the first part of chapter 2, the opposite supports each other. None of them is fixed. Like us, we feel, compared to Earth, we feel we're very small. However, for a quark, or even for item, we are probably like the universe to an item, just as the universe is to us as a human. It's instead of having a fixed, we are this body and this size, this dimension is us. It puts everything almost like a continuous. We're all together. You can really see we're all as one. The perspective didn't just come up to human and stop here. It can continue going. It doesn't also come down to our body and stop there. It continue going down. And I'm sure as science continue going, scientists continue discovering, maybe each quark could be the universe for something that's much smaller particle. Also make me think about, there's another saying in Chinese, it's called 人生小宇宙，宇宙大人生. It translates as our human body is a small universe, and the whole universe is actually a bigger human body. Now you can see why in the holistic way of seeing our body and seeing the nature is that we're not only part of the universe, we contain everything. We contain we are made, whereas our body follow the same rules, same law as how the universe is. So in a way you can say we're the same as the universe. In some like the Taoism practice books, they talk about like the people, when you practice Taoist practice, you can say to a higher level, your consciousness gets to a higher level, and you understand more of your body, and you realize actually there are even like the time, a year in Chinese has is divided into 24 solar terms. So 15 days is one term, and you can see you have all of those terms in actually your body. So you basically have the whole year in your body. Also, some people have wrote books saying that when they meditate, they can able to sense how the constellation, how the stars in the sky, how those stars interact with different part of their body. That's just all different from different angle are saying that our body is actually quite amazing. It contains so much more, and make me realize how little actually we know our body. One of the Taoist idea of practice is to say, if you want to know the truth about the universe, you should, instead of going out and studying outside, go into your body. Once you understand how your body really works, then you understand everything in the universe. So the next sentence goes back to chapter 2. Next sentence goes, she has but doesn't possess, acts but doesn't expect. The Chinese for this part is 生而不有. 生 translate, it can be as give birth to or grow, make something. 有 means you own it, you possess it. We can translate it as, it's also like this is talking about nature. Nature gave birth to everything. However, she doesn't possess anything. She doesn't say, okay, so-and-so, you should behave this way, or so-and-so, or elephant, you should do it this way. Humans, you should do it this way. She holds the space for us. And when her work is done, she forgets it. That's why it lasts forever. Often people will interpret this as basically do not often people, once, especially the people who have a certain achievement, and you can say like they get into their head, they feel like, oh, I'm so big, I'm so noble, look what I could do, and they started to feel more they deserve to be treated a certain way. However, that's usually oftentimes when a person feels when they have too much of an ego. And so let's say if you be modest, and that's if you don't try to feel everybody see what I have, and I deserve this and that, and oftentimes then what your contribution, what you made, will last forever. Often you can also, for me, I think often when reading this sentence make me think about, I don't know if you had that experience, that oftentimes if something you really want, and you don't have it, so you want it and you want it, for some reason you just couldn't really, just can't get it for some reason. And even though how much harder you try. However, oftentimes when you get to time saying like, okay, either you have got over it, or for some reason you said, I don't want it anymore, or that's okay, I'm fine without it. And that's when, and this thing will actually naturally show up. I don't know if you had experience like that. It's very interesting. It's almost like when you're working very hard doing something, what actually got focused, got amplified, is the fact that, okay, you don't have it. That's what you, in your conscious mind, that's what, I don't have it, that's why I need to go out and I need to take this, I need to get it. And that's when it doesn't manifest. However, when you kind of let it go, forgets, that's why it's just like when work is done, she forgets it. And then things will actually, you actually hold the space, just like nature, you hold the space, and then what needs to come oftentimes will show up. So it's very interesting like that. So if you think about it, or maybe pay attention, see if that's true, realize that to you. So okay, so it's 11 o'clock. We should wrap up. We just finished Tao Te Ching chapter 2. So thank you people for joining me. And next week we'll continue on to Tao Te Ching chapter 3. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.